Welcome back to the channel. I hope you're having a great day. So, looking at the idea of EOS Voice on the Hive blockchain, kind of clickbaitish, right? But let's take a look at the idea of what voice was. Now, many of us know that EOS Voice was kind of like this decentralized social media attempt on EOS, similar to the creator Dan Larimer, similar to his earlier projects like Steam, and which then Steam forked off. Most of the Steam community went over to Hive. But now when you go on the Voice platform, and I think a lot of people are aware of this, it's it's talking about an NFT platform that's emerging for creators in the summer of 2021. Now, this was a big issue because Block One had previously invested $150 million into Voice, and they closed up like a year after. And now what they have is an unfinished NFT site, right? Which is very strange thing, right? $150 million, $150 million. You'd have thought that would have easily become a $1 billion project, right? Very ambitious project, but they're saying here everything is NFT now, and it's talking about this is on the Protos. This is actually Protos article, media group, but it was talking here about Voice was supposed to be that change. In reality, the pitch was almost identical to the spiel Larimer parroted 5 years ago with one of his earlier projects, Steam, now abandoned. So let's dissect that a little bit. Now you still got Steam running, you still got the Hive blockchain running, but it would appear that in Dan Larimer's mind, those projects weren't really where he was trying to go with the idea. So he seems to try to reinvent it later on with Voice, because Voice, to understand Voice was a kind of offshoot of many of his ideas to further decentralize the network. You know, for example, what generally happens is when through money you can buy a network, the influence and the voices of those people are heard a lot more than everybody else. So in this ambitious project, Dan Larimer, with $150 million invested, tried to make this idea come true, right? To make it where it's more so truly democratized, right? Now, this talks about how Voice's NFT pivot inspired Dorsey. In reality, all this sounds very similar to the Cent Valuables platform recently utilized by Twitter boss Jack Dorsey. Dorsey sold an NFT of this Genesis tweet for $2.9 million in Ethereum earlier this year and gave the proceeds to charity. So that is what I guess inspired a lot of move of Voice. Now, here's the thing. I think that Voice had it right as a decentralized social media platform, but they were saying it's too centralized. How is it going to be decentralized? So now they switched to let's just do NFTs. But the NFTs are kind of, doing this thing where, is bubble the right term? It seems very bubble-like to me, and it seems like it's going to be something that could be damaging, I think, going forward into the future. Some people disagree. Some people like the ideas of NFTs. They feel it further democratizes things, and maybe it does, from the creator's perspective. But I just kind of feel like there are better ways to do this, and I think Voice was on the right track with the social media platform idea into it, with the balancing it out where whales and have influence over the network, where everybody, because at the end of the day, the freedoms you have in that department and the distribution rate and the who owns the network, that's really what's going to matter in the end, right? But let's take a look at what EOS Voice would look like on Hive, because it's still shut down now, it's still not operating. In the summer, I think it's set to launch. Don't know how that's going to go. As they said, everybody's doing NFTs. Maybe they're hoping like a Jack Dorsey like figure just starts to bid up these NFTs. But I think NFTs are going to experience many problems in the future, and I don't think they're going to be the overall solution in crypto. They may contribute to it to a great degree, only because I like the idea that a person can bring in their value and creativity and they can have the speculation on it. But what I don't like is that this speculation knows no bounds, right? So it's going to create a very bubble-like economy. You're selling works of art for $60, $100 million, and these aren't like works of art that a lot have been labor intensive. These aren't Van Goghs and Picassos that have taken a lot of genius and work. These are weird concepts like bottles of air and just a lot of weird things that I don't think is a good look for the NFT markets. But anyway, I want to take you over here to the BitcoinNYK.com site, which to me is the closest thing to EOS Voice, or what could have been on a system like Hive or something like that. I think Hive and Steam have done a better job of kind of capturing the essence of decentralized social media. And those networks, I think, do need improvement, but I think they move a great deal in the right direction. Okay, here on the Bitcoin MYK network, and this project is tokenized on the Hive blockchain and the Steam blockchain. Okay, so it has all those components of much like how the EOS blockchain works, right? Obviously it was created by the same person, Dan Larimer, or at least the code. So what's happening here is similar like the idea of voice. People are posting their content, they're posting their their various things they find important. And what's happening here is you can see there is an upvote system with the currency itself. Now, this works different than the power up mechanism that Steam did, Hive did, that I think EOS Voice was going to do, because this is very much a democratized, meritocratized system. As to say, there's no way you can, buy influence over the network. Everybody has this upvote power that is limitless, right? It is a limitless upvote power to the cryptocurrency to a sense, and it can be, it's not really limited. Instead of having like the rewards pool, we just can reduce the rewards that are going out, in the cryptocurrency, and that is done to balance the system. But as you can see, the format of it is just very much akin to what you get on like on like the Steam blockchain, right? So, or I'm sorry, the Facebook, right? Look at something like EOS Voice, where they were calling out many of these mainstream social media sites, where it'd be like Facebook and Twitter, of you're not paying people for their content. They're not in ownership of the networks, and these are all valid points. This is what we need to stick with: the owning of our social media, our data, and a governance model onto what we do with that. And the Bitcoin NYK project has all that. It uses through its group function what is called network distributors, which is a very decentralized format to where anybody can create groups, get people in those groups. They represent those people as the group owner. They get a vote on key issues that are part of the project. And so there's so many easier ways we can do this. And I just know if you all try this system out, you're really going to like it. You get cryptocurrency for daily logins. You get cryptocurrencies for posting. There's auto curation. That means the system itself, instead of you having to depend on whales or depend on people to like your content, the system is able to extrapolate, take what are the various type things you do, and give you a certain cryptocurrency value to that. Now, I know a lot of people go, well, then we'll just have people spam the network, fake accounts. That is what adjudication exists for. That is what the group function exists for. and their voting power on creating these groups to look into those matters, to have a hearing on those matters, and to vote with their votes that if those people are good or bad for the network. And that's very important. That's understood that the governance model is the fulcrum to balance out all the undesirables we have. And much like any democratic voting process, whatever that group decides is the answer, whatever that may be, that's just how democracy works. And democracy is a very key component in decentralization, right? So here's the other very interesting thing. Uh, if you are a person who wants to collect EOS cryptocurrency, instead of collecting like the Bitcoin MYK token or what could be kind of viewed as the version of EOS Voice version on Hive, let's go over to the Hive Engine Exchange. I'm gonna click that, and we're gonna get over there to the Hive Engine Exchange. And we're taking a look at the Bitcoin MYK or the Bitcoin MYK backed dollar cryptocurrency. It's right now at $9. Not very much volume. People are just coming into the network. It has had quite a bit of volume over the last several months. And so what you see is you're earning these cryptocurrencies, able to transfer it to this exchange. But here is the very interesting part of it. And that is there is a version, and let me find it here. Okay, so as you can see, there is a version of EOS on the Hive Vision Exchange where you can swap out your Bitcoin MYK tokens for EOS tokens, right? So you can trade it and then exchange it for EOS, ship it out there, or you can just simply use it on the Hive blockchain. As these have the very same similar feels of the system. So I kind of feel like when you're talking about Hive, when you're talking about Steam, when you're talking about EOS, besides just some differences in the concept a bit, because they're created by the same person, I kind of feel like they're still all part of the same family in a sense. And whereas, some Hive people might have an issue with EOS or Steam people or so on and so forth, I can see these similarities that kind of bind them together. But I guess what I'm saying is that if a person is using EOS Voice, right, and they're no longer using it, it's going to become this NFT platform, and they kind of like the better version of being able to power up upvotes and so on and so forth. You can do all these things on Bitcoin MYK, but it's not really, because it's all democratized. There is no powering up. Everybody has unlimited upvotes, and the value of the upvote just kind of changes with the growth of the network, right, and the amount of the rewards going out, right? But it's all pretty much even across the board. And the social media itself is on a blockchain, so it is decentralized on the chain. It is censorship resistant on the chain. So when you're putting data up there, that data is going to stay on there. But then again, as far as the governance model to determine who is allowed to be on the network, who shouldn't have an account on the network, and be able to use the platform systems, that's conducted by governance models that everybody has representation and a voice in. This is not this is different than like how Bitcoin kind of works and many other cryptocurrencies where you either stake the crypto and influence the network, or you either are part of a big mining monopoly or mining pools, and miners who only represent people in those pools make the decisions on the chain. This is totally different. Anybody can create a group on this, a network distributor function, and have the ability, as long as a person other than themselves joins the group, they get a vote. So it's a very interesting concept. I think it's one many of you all would very much prefer over much of what we got, and in the direction that EOS Voice was going. I think this really touches on the spirit of that to a great deal, and I think that it would be more relative to, I think what many of us were hoping to see with voice, right? This is an auto curation system. This is an auto distribution system, but it's also a manual system, so you can do both. But the idea is if nobody comes in and upvotes you, the system itself will be able to extrapolate what you've done, value-wise, what you've contributed, whether it be a post or photos uploaded, or adding friends, or creating groups, or whatever the case may be. The system knows how to give you a certain amount of value. There's also a referral program. You can earn more cryptocurrency. So it's one of those projects where it seems to think of everything. But that's all I want to say in this video. Be sure to join today. You can get our cryptocurrency free today over there. And every day that you log in, it is part of our universal basic income portion of it. But just a truly democratic process in every sense of the word. And we believe that's what's going to, in the end, draw the most users, the most democratic, the platform that values its users the most, that gives them a more represented voice the most. All of these things are going to be key, I think, to the cryptocurrency of the future that's going to create much of these solutions to problems we have and create such economic prosperity. That is what we're aiming for. That is all I want to say. Until next time, as always, take care.